options. Have you heard of quantum medical hypnosis? Well, we are going to discuss that, how it's backed by research in treating PTSD. I am Amita from Nourish Dog, a platform for natural, holistic, and integrative therapies. Presenting this session, I am excited to introduce Dr. Ezzat Mogazhy. Dr. Mogazhy is doctorate in integrative medicine. He is founder of Quantum Medical Hypnosis. He's a clinical hypnotherapist, registered psychotherapist, EFT practitioner, and mind mapping instructor. Dr. Mogazhy has authored a lot of books that can be bought on Amazon. Welcome, Dr. Mogazhy.
Hello, good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Great. So let's start with exactly the question of what exactly is quantum medical hypnosis?
Sure, certainly. So in order for us to understand the concept of the quantum medicine, we can go back a little bit in history and how the hypnosis been going through the history of humanity. So the first step is that hypnosis is not a state of sleep. That's a very important understanding. And the second important thing is that when you are in hypnosis, you are in a state of consciousness and awareness. Early in time, back in time in India and Egypt and ancient Greeks, they used hypnosis as a method of healing and treatment. Therefore, it has been already in humanity for a long, long time. During my doctorate dissertations, I actually was so curious, like how hypnosis work, like how when you are in the state of trance, how your body respond to that. So I measured that using the HRV, heart rate variability. It's a very tangible way to measure the space in between each and every heartbeats. So let's say that your heartbeat sounds like blop, 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 blop. So between those, there is a gap in between measuring your stress level. And when I found that there is a lot of veterans in America that they come and they have these difficulties to come back into civilizations and work back into community, I was like so curious to know what's going on, why they actually stressed, what's going on, the PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And this was the most populations of my doctoral dissertations where I measured their heart rate variability during the state of hypnosis. And this is where the quantum medical hypnosis came from. Now, when you look into this diagram, you can see kind of illustrations what exactly happened in your mind when you are in the state of quantum medical hypnosis. So when you listen to my voice, it goes through your ears, and then from there, it goes inside your brain through the three bones inside your inner ears, creating waves of possibilities, releasing a chemistry inside the brain, allowing the subconscious mind to be open. The problem here is that as far as we reach to the stage, you are in a comfort and relax. You are not quantum yet. You are not in hypnosis yet. You are just comfortable and relaxed. Now, from there, you can see that the diagram is explaining to you that you're releasing a certain hormones through your bloodstream, allowing what we call it the quantum collapse. What does it mean? It means that you let it go. All of that tension and stress and holding on, and I cannot let go. I have to hold on that stress and that pain because it's protecting me and I have to be there. Now, once you allow that collapse to happen, your physical body will start to feel that sense of tingling sensations. Some people experience heaviness or warmth feeling or comfort. It's what we call it the vital body. It's the second in the diagram, which we'll explain in a minute, what actually the steps of the quantum medical hypnosis in order for it to happen. Then it's sent back again to the brain, which is the logic brain, the logic rational mind, waves of possibilities. Now, once you receive that waves of possibilities, you start to understand that I have a choice either to be tense or to be relaxed, to be comfortable or discomfortable. All of these thoughts and ideas in my mind, it's only in my mind. It never been actually in my reality. Now, once you start to reach to that realizations, immediately you reach to what we call it the quantum entanglement. Now, Einstein talked about quantum entanglement long time ago, but it never actually been associated or related to medicine and hypnosis. And this where the quantum medical hypnosis came from that connectivity that every particles in the universe, that they are connected, even though if we don't think that they are not. So when you look into this diagram, you can see the full recovery as the end result of your abilities to create that quantum entanglement or quantum leap.
That's fascinating, what you just said. And that brings us to what you talked about, the heart rate variability aspect of it.
Absolutely. So the heart rate variability came as a way to tangibly measure. We all know that we live in a world where if you don't see it, you can't believe it. So it has to be in a way measurable and tangible. And obviously, because I came from a medical background, I believe so much if you can measure something, you can control it. If you bake a cake and if you don't put the right measurements, we all know what this cake would be turned to be. It will be something completely different, right? So therefore, once you have that, the methods to measure your baking, your treatment, your methodology, your abilities to control the outcome is absolutely wonderful. Now, when you look into this diagram, you see here the levels, different levels of the brain frequency from the gamma, the beta, the alpha, the theta, and the delta. Delta is the deepest hypnosis state possible that any person can reach to. And that's why it is quantum, because once you are in that state, you start to disconnect from your physical body, in which is limited, in which is it's impossible. I cannot achieve my dreams. All of these things is just hocus pocus kind of thing. And once you are in the state of delta, you get disconnected from that world. Just to make it simple and easy for you to understand, if you are in a state of dream when you are asleep at night, you can do everything and anything that even from your own conscious and logic mind sometimes is impossible. You can have dinners with the shark underneath the water. You can fly into the sky and reach to the Mars and achieve everything you want. Everything is possible. Therefore, constructing these dreams in the state of trance is very critical and very important. Therefore, in my initial assessment, I always start with creating what we call it cognitive understanding, rational understanding. Rationalizations of ideas is very important part of the quantum medical hypnosis or the delta unconscious mind hypnosis.
Okay. Moving on. So let's talk about the body dimensions.
So the body dimensions is a very important aspect of quantum medical hypnosis, and I'll tell you why. Now, when you look into this diagram, you see the physical and vital and the mental, supramental, and spiritual bodies. When you look at it from the first eye, you say, well, this doesn't make any sense. This has no evidence behind it. I don't see any research for it, but I'll explain to you in a minute how and where these five bodies came from. When I went to Quantum University to study the integrative medicine, Dr. Paul, the president of the university, he came with the concept of the five bodies. So the concept of the five bodies is a representations of two directions of treatment or approach. One is what we call it the modern medicine, which we call it upward causation. You start with the physical body and then you go up towards the mental and supramental and obviously the bless. But from the integrative medicine point of view, you start from up down. They call it the downward causations. In another word, you follow the stream. The stream of a river always comes from top down. You never see a river goes from down up. It's just not possible. the gravity, it will actually not even allow that to happen. Now, when you look into this diagram, I brought this idea into hypnology science from a different perspective, where when you are in your physical body, you start to utilize, call it utilization of your five senses: the seeing, the hearing, the smelling, the taste, and the feeling. I call those utilizations because they are passive. You never actually sit there actively and say, oh, no, I don't want to listen to this. Oh, I don't want to smell this. Oh, I don't want to see this. Oh, I don't want to taste this or feel this. You cannot do that. It's actually there. It's working for you beyond your needs. You don't need to sit there and actively activating your hearing process today. It's already there. Now, there's a problem for that, in which everything that comes through you and through your receptors, they just come into your physical body without filtering, creating what we call it the shock, the first shock. Now, once these shocks come in your body take them and analyzing them. That is the critical mind job, to filter and analyze those things. And in your dreams, that filter will create what we call it the venting process, either through the dreams or your physical body in sort of pain and aches and suffer. Some people come to you and say, oh, Dr. Amita, I have this pain forever and I have no idea where the, oh, sure, let's do this, and all that assessment and analysis and evaluation. And well, sir, I think you're okay. Everything seems perfect. Your physical body signs seems okay. And that's so true, because the problem is not in the physical body. The problem is in the other bodies, the invisible, I call it. So let me explain to you now, what are these bodies? The first one is the vital one. The vital body is the realizations of your five senses. So now, once you start to create a meaning for a smell, for example, you pass by a restaurant and you smell this yummy, delicious food, remind you with your grandmother cooking in the kitchen, creating a memory in your head. You're just that little girl and standing there and smelling the food, and you were so excited to eat the food from your grandmother. And all of these pictures have been created in the mind. So the brain has the ability, the invisible ability, to create all of these memories through your senses. Once you start to create what? A meaning for them. That is your realization, the vital body. Now, once you go up a little bit in the spectrum into the mental body, the logic brain, the rational mind, I call it rationalization. Each and every sense that you have and meaning and memories create a rational idea, logic behind it. Yes, I was there. I was 5 years old. I was standing in the kitchen, smelling my grandmother cooking. It smells so good. It makes me feel good. I really loved it. It was so nourishment and all of that stuff. That's called rationalization or logic behind it. And then once you go up beyond the mental body, now you are at the level of the supramental body. This is the imagination. This is where your inner child is rested. Now, when you are stressed, when you are in pain and suffer, there is no way for you to be creative. There is no way for you to be in a state of imagination. You're stressed. You are in fight flight now. You want to save yourself. You are in a state of survival. Therefore, when you are in the quantum medical hypnosis, you get disconnected from the triggers, from the state of stress, and you reach to that inner child that is creative, imaginary, and achieving everything that you want and possibly desire. Now, once you start to accept that idea that you are okay with yourself right now, you start to create what we call it the acceptance. And once you accept yourself, you're creating the highest level of yourself, connecting with the higher self, the spiritual body or the blessed body, or some people, you can call it the God or the spiritual self or the higher self or the inner guidance. It doesn't really matter what you call it. The most important part is that the acceptance of the idea that you are there and you can trust yourself. That's the foundation of the quantum medical hypnosis technique.
I think it's a very interesting concept, what you're saying. And interestingly, the similar concept I've observed also exists in Ayurveda. They also talk about the theory of Panchakosha. They talk about the 5 sheets. It's very similar to what you're explaining. It's a lot of resonance between the two concepts.
Absolutely, absolutely, no doubt. You know what, Dr. Amit, I think uh, the main goal of medicine and healthcare is to help people to heal themselves. I agree with you. We treat people, but we have to understand that people heal themselves. So, Ayurveda, functional medicine, integrative medicine, modern medicine, any kind of medicine and healthcare procedures, they've been designed from the first place to allow people to accelerate the process of their healing and ultimate potential recovery.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Okay, moving on. What can we do with quantum medical hypnosis now?
So in here, you can see that how quantum medical hypnosis can access parts of your mind that almost impossible to achieve or to accomplish consciously. Let me explain to you this from a very, very simple point of view. Let's say that your frontal prefrontal lobes, which we call it the human brain, is 4 fingers. And the amygdala, or the unconscious mind, is the thumb. So this is your brain, look like this, in the normal state of mind. Now, when you are in the state of fear and worries and anxiousness and pain, for frontal, prefrontal lobes, they open. I don't want to deal with this thing, leaving the amygdala, the thumb, exposed to this world. Obviously, the amygdala never been designed to regulate and control your emotions. So what will happen? Immediately releasing stress hormones. We all know that stress hormones are toxins, creating vasoconstrictions, making your heart uh, beating faster, your breathing become shallower, your muscles become tight. You live in the state of stress and anxiousness 24/7, where you were designed to live in that state only to fight or flight. But once you create that chronic state of stress, your abilities to regulate these emotions and feelings become impossible. There's no way that you tell me that somebody their house is falling apart and the fire is there, and you tell them, well, let's play some music here or play guitar. They'll be like, what? I want to save my house. It's falling apart. Let's run. Right? So it's
Yeah.
impossible to reach the unconscious healing part of you when you are stressed. It's just no way. Therefore, we have to create that state of comfort first. How we do that? When you listen to my voice and you're sitting comfortably and relaxed, your abilities to close your eyes become natural, because now your intention to have more attention to what I am about to say become more, what we call it, the focus. So hypnosis, in one word, is focus. Simple as that. And once you close your eyes, your mind is open. As simple as that. Even medicine proved that. All research now saying when you close your eyes, just close your eyes, 250 million cells in your brain open. And that's why you cannot sleep with your eyes open. You have to close your eyes, right? Unless you have a special skills, I don't know. So once you have that in place, your abilities to focus become higher. Certainly 250 million cells of your brain become comfortable and relaxed, allowing you to take the first step towards the quantum entanglement. So what's quantum entanglement in hypnosis means? Means that you start to get connected with your invisible self, the part of you that nobody else can see, only you can see. We all know that there's a small little Izzy inside myself, and there's a small little Amita inside you, little small thing inside every person that nobody else can reach, only you. and that's the entanglement. And once you reach to that person inside you, I call it the true self, the authentic self. You create the quantum leap, the deep understanding that you are here and you are available and you can actually help yourself. And once you reach that realizations, you start to accept yourself for who you are without any representations. You don't need to put makeup, you don't need to put clothes on. You're just absolutely authentic, the real self. And that's quantum leap came in place.
Okay. So let's talk about the research and why is quantum hypnosis audio unique, what you're talking about.
Sure. So obviously, and because of the COVID and coronavirus pandemic, it's been absolutely, changed everything. Our life, we have to admit this, our life just changed dramatically overnight. I mean, everything is not the same anymore. And therefore, we have to come up with, I think it's our responsibility as healthcare providers, as doctors, therapists, and physicians to come up with solutions to help people in such pandemic. And therefore, I have created a audio for each and every concern that you can think of that hypnosis can help you with. And these audios are designed to help you in a different level of hypnosis, which is the quantum medical hypnosis. Therefore, I have created those audios based on the research that we have done during the dissertation. And we have created the 8D, which is the delta state of relaxation, as we explained earlier in the diagram. This is the deepest state of hypnosis that any person can ever achieve. And once you achieve that, you achieve what we call it the REM. And REM is the ability not just to sleep, but also to achieve the ultimate lucid dreaming, in which is the healing can take place, rejuvenations. Sleep come in place because your body, your physical body, after a long day of work and think and talk and eat and all of these activities, needs this rest. And that is the goal of the quantum medical hypnosis audio. And the autonomous sensory meridian response, or ASMR, is a ability of your sensory, your body itself to respond to the audio hypnosis is wonderful. It's actually achieving the ultimate healing in no time. Some people came back to me and saying, this is unbelievable. From the first time ever in my life, I listened to something and that changed my life. That's just, to me, is just wonderful thing. Now, obviously, because we cannot be in person because of the corona and trying to create the social distancing, the audio hypnosis came as a wonderful solutions. It came into your house itself. You can listen to it on your computer or on your phone while you sleep at night. It's just very, very convenient. And obviously the price is just compared to in-person sessions is just very, very convenient and affordable.
So these are all the steps that you're talking about, how one can practice self-hypnosis.
Absolutely. So when I wrote my book, Quantum Medical Hypnosis, I thought in my mind, what I need if I have this book in my hand. If I am a reader, I put myself in your shoes to see what I actually would look for. So what I was looking for is tools to help me in my day-to-day life. Therefore, I have created 17 easy to practice self-hypnosis exercise. They are available in the Quantum Medical Hypnosis book. You can purchase it on Amazon. Quantum Medical Hypnosis. All of these techniques are in the book, available one by one with illustrations how to practice each and every one of them. I can pick one or two of those 17 to help you out. Maybe the SSR. I think SSR is a very wonderful technique. Stop, slow down, and retain. Now, When you drive your car and you're about to approach a traffic light, and you see from far distance the traffic lights changing from green to orange, what is your first response?
Well, you need to slow down, right?
Thank you. Exactly. So what's what it's a very interesting you said that, Dr. Amita, because it's a very easy to do that when it comes to such metaphor. But in our day-to-day life, when you sit there and think about things and your brain in this kind of race and do, you don't have that tool. You don't have that methodology to slow down your process of thinking. Therefore, SSR came in a very handy self-hypnosis technique that can help you. So what you need to do, if you're sleeping and your brain is just cannot stop thinking continuously, overthinking about your day and how this boss looked at me this way, or this person said this to me, or this or that, all of these things, the first thing you need to do, you need to stop. You
Mm-hmm.
have to. You have to stop. And you have to create that, as Tony Robbins used to say, massive action. So, what massive action means? If you're asleep, you have to leave the bed. If you're cooking, you have to stop cooking. If you're driving the car, you have to stop driving the car. If you do any activity, you have to stop it immediately. And once you stop it, what will happen is your critical mind once will never sit there and look, oh my God, this guy, he leaving the bed in the cold. You have the brain will respond what we call it reverse reaction. So what reverse reactions means, the brain will leave all of these thoughts and ideas and the busy mind and thinking, why on earth did you leave that warm and cozy bed and you went outside in the cold? That's weird. So the brain start to reverse the thought process by slowing down your thinking, creating what we call it the gap in between. And once you create that gap, you will feel it. You will feel it, Dr. Amina. It's like a control thing. It's the most beautiful thing ever. As if suddenly you leave the passenger seat and you sit in the driver's seat. You become the master of your own mind. And once you achieve that, then you can go back and retain. If you were sleeping, go back sleep. If you're cooking, go back cooking. If you're driving, go back driving. And this is what SSR stands for.
That's fascinating, but I think it's hard for people to do that. That's the only problem. All of us just keep going and going, like you said earlier, without thinking that, oh, we need to slow down to stop what the thoughts are, whatever the thoughts are.
Absolutely. The most myth around thinking or thoughts process or hypnosis is that once I go to the hypnotherapist, they will put me with this magic finger or stick or something, and I'll be asleep and I will forget everything in my life. And when I wake up, I'll become a new person. That's not true. That's not true. What true
Yeah.
is that when you come to hypnosis, you come with an open mind to allow yourself to be available for yourself. That is the key. The key is to teach you how to become better you, stronger you. I teach you methods and techniques that you can practice yourself. That once you go home, then you become the master of your own mind. This is exactly what quantum medical hypnosis is.
So now all of us are stressed out right now, you know.
Absolutely.
So and so how can we utilize the protocol, the quantum medical hypnosis protocol?
Sure, absolutely. So obviously, because we are living in a world of pandemic, and for the first time probably in history, you probably know that as a doctor yourself, that when you tell your patient, I know what you feel, it's really horrible, it's a crazy situation, you're telling the truth because you're living it yourself. For the first time ever. I remember one of my professors used to say, one of my patients always come to me and say, oh, I'm anxious, I have this anxiety, da 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 da. And nobody really knows exactly what anxious means. For the first time ever, the entire universe start to understand what anxiousness means. What does it mean to live in the state of unknown, uncertain? You have no idea what tomorrow would be like. You have no clue. And that obviously creates a trace of guard or protection. And that's just very natural for us as a human being. We have been designed to protect ourselves. Therefore, living in a state of pandemic and anxiousness and fears and worries, it's a very, very natural and normal thing. Therefore, once you start to understand that it's not a weird thing to feel anxious, it's not a only titled into you because of your background or the way you've been raised or all of these things. No, that's not. It's just being human. That part of being human is to feel anxious and mad and sad and all of these feelings. The problem is that we are trying to diminish these painful feelings as much as possible. We can take any medication, just give it to me. I'll take it all just to feel good. I want to feel good now. And guess what? All medical research proved that that is not the long-term solution. It's just not. It will just numb your feelings, your utilizations of your five senses for that period of time. And guess what? Once you come out of that numbness, you'll be worse than ever before. Why? Because you've been numb for a while. When you come out to the real life, your logic mind won't be accepted this realization. You'll be like, this is crazy. How did I live without medication before? Something like that. Now, in order for you to live the life that is absolutely full of joy and happiness, even though during the most difficult times, you have to reach to your unconscious mind. Conscious mind cannot cope by itself with all of this. I want you to imagine your brain as a house, 12 rooms, for example, and you lived your entire life in one room, and you have no idea that you have 11 rooms in this big house. Everybody pass by. Oh, wow, Dr. Amita has this big house, 12 rooms. She must sleep in a different room every night. They don't know that we only consume 5% of our brain capacity. 95% of your brain is just sitting there doing nothing, literally. And therefore, this protocol will help you so much to reach, to just tap into your unconscious mind that is full of potential. I call it the full potential of healing. Once you achieve that, that extraordinary evolution of understanding of your authentic self that we talked about earlier will reveal itself. And all of that triggers, all of these triggers around you will never trigger you anymore, because now you're living in the state of peace, in the state of calmness. When you tell someone that they are so calm and relaxed and seems like they're really not affected by anything, they are, but they are able to respond, not to react. They're able to control, not to be controlled by. And therefore, once you achieve that breakthrough, I call it breakthrough. Breakthrough means you're breaking through your critical mind. That security guard standing there saying, oh, where are you going? I'm going to visit my unconscious mind. No, not allowed. Go back to your conscious mind. What? It's horrible here. I can't live anymore. Well, I don't care. You have to go back there.
I think all of us need to go to a subconscious mind on a daily basis to cope up the stress.
Absolutely. You know what, Dr. Amita, this is what meditations is all about. This is what hypnosis is all about. This is what Ayurveda medicine is all about. Functional medicine, even modern medicine is all about. Is to allow you to live in that spacious place. Think about it. If you have a big house, big, huge mansion, and you leave everything and you squeeze everything in one room, how crowded that can be. That's insane, right? If you think about it logically, you leave the entire house and you squeeze everything in one room, the kitchen, the bathroom, the living room, the bedroom, everything in one room. And you wonder why you're not stressed. You have to reach to your unconscious mind on not just on a daily basis. I give my patients an exercise to reach to their unconscious mind every hour, every hour.
Oh
You
my
need this.
God.
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. Why you need to do this? You have to create this massive action of creating a new neural pathways. The brain is designed for so long. Trust me, you don't need training, you don't need guidance, you don't need even me or any other doctors to be stressed. You know how to do that. You are absolutely the master of being anxious. You know how to do it's absolutely there. But what you really need to learn is how to be not anxious. And how to do that by creating a new neural pathways. I want you to think of the new neural pathways as a your GPS road to your work. So let's say that you take this route from your home to your office every single day. And every single day you've been stressed about this traffic and this bumpy roads and all of that. And now the GPS showing you, oh, by the way, there's a fastest, quickest, easiest
Mhm.
route to your office. Which one you will choose?
Yeah,
The
I mean,
fastest one. It's a
that's
logic
right.
choice.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
why choosing to go away from the old habits require practice. Practice is the key to master anything. If you practice anything, you'll become really, really good at it.
I think, yes, well, you have absolutely convinced all of us that quantum medical hypnosis work. Can I be hypnotized? I guess so. You said that.
Well, the question, this is the main question that most people ask. Can I be hypnotized? Well, I have a news to share with all of you, okay? We all live in a state of hypnosis. As a matter of fact, because of the pandemic and the COVID-19, we are over suggestible. We are overstimulated because we are living in the state of unknown. Okay.
Mhm.
And that's why when someone come to me nowadays, I don't hypnotize them anymore.
I see.
You know what? Do you know what I do now? I
Mhm.
dehypnotize them first. So dehypnotization means I get them out of the state of hypnosis because they are living in it already. They are already living in the hyper suggestible state of mind. So I get them out of that and normalizing their brain waves and frequency and then bring them back into the normal state of hypnosis.
Okay. So, case studies. We should
Yeah, this is
get a
interesting.
little bit. This is an interesting part. This is the part I absolutely love is the case studies.
I love that part so much too. Yeah, absolutely. It's always so rewarding to see your hard work paid
Yes.
off and see the fruits of your seeds finally in such profound and tangible results. So this case study of Steve, he's a 59 years old male. He's diagnosed with the post-traumatic stress disorder after 9/11 disaster. So he
Mhm.
lost his wife in the Twin Towers, and he was a firefighter himself. He just was so devastated, and he had these frustrations and anger and feeling of guilt that he could have saved his wife during
Yeah.
such a disaster, and he lived his entire life in such pain and suffer. Now, when he came to me with the chronic pain, he was skeptic. He was very skeptic. He said that, well, I don't think this will work. I don't know what's going on in my mind. Um, and I start to explain to him first that PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder is like you're standing in the middle of a road that you just crossed, but because of any circumstances that you've been hit by a car in your first attempt, you lost your keys, your slippers felt away, and you lost your phone. And now you stand in the middle, which is the present moment of time, and you're stuck. The feeling of stuckness is the most common feeling that PTSD individuals share together.
Mhm.
Therefore, there is no way for their conscious mind to bring them into the future, the other side of the road, because of that fear inside them. If they cross the road again, this car, in which is the fear or the worries that they lived with for so long, will hit them one more time. And that's why when you are in quantum medical hypnosis, you go back, you relive those events. As a matter of fact, you see people when they are in the trance, they go back and they experience it all. They call that exposure therapy. When you expose them into the events, they start to realize it's only in my mind. It never been actually a thing. I lived it, I experienced it, I felt the sadness and the madness and the anger about it, and it is the time for me now to let go. That is the realizations of it. The logic mind, the rational brain will help them to achieve that. And you can see in the diagram here, the heart rate variability before the sessions was just skyrocketing. It's just up and down like Rocky Mountains. There is a lot of fears and worries there, you can see. And after our protocol have been done in 3 sessions, which is about 2 to 3 weeks, you can see the normalizations and the harmony of the HRV showing that the profound results. It's a very tangible, it's really very helpful to see the diagram helping you to understand the state of mind before and after.
I think it's very compelling evidence that shows, and this is the best way for you to measure the heart rate variability before and after in that particular case. All right, moving on to another success case.
Absolutely. So the second case study here is Nikki, 49 years old, female. She do the office job. She's again diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. She has an inner child trauma and emotionally abused. She lived in a household of a single mother, and she had a lot of frustrations and anger and being stressed and defeated by her mom that men are crazy. Look, your father divorced me and left us alone, and lived in all of these emotions and feeling, and all of these things being embedded in her. And she started to have a fear of doing mistakes, insecurity, lack of confidence, and she started to gain weight and have inabilities to cope with herself, with her true self. She has a lot of potential to achieve so many things, but her self-image being absolutely distorted because of the way how she been raised. Now, I start to explain to her, now, your first caregiver, which is your mom, is your source of your suggestibility. So what does it mean? It means that she is the source of your learning. She's the one that who's trained you how to learn, how to accept suggestion. And obviously, because it was in a way of confusion that there is no father figure in the family, and she lost that ability to create what we call it congruency or coherence between what she thinks and what she feels. So she thinks something, and but then she feels something else. And that's called incongruency. That increased what we call it the ego sensation. So what ego sensation means, that her abilities to connect with her physical body diminished, almost not there. And her physical body become like a castle to protect her. Therefore, having a bigger castle means more secure. Okay, eat more, bigger body. Bigger body means more secure. And this is how she been trained for so long. And when she came, as you can see, the first diagram there, it just shows a rocking ups and downs and fears and worries and tears and all of that inability to create the balance between what she thinks and what she feels allows her to have a lot of mistakes in her work. And she has this fear, if she did even a small little mistake, it can be a big deal. They can fire her, she can lose her job, and her life will collapse. And all of that was just because of the way how she been raised. So to work around such a thing, you cannot tell person like this, okay, let's work on your body weight. You just cannot do that. This is their protection. This is their safety. They cannot lose their safety. You're asking for the impossible. It doesn't matter how many diets you do, how many programs you fast, you don't eat, you will never lose weight because your body becomes your first defense. Now, and this is what I call it the upward causation. You cannot treat the body, a person like that, from the physical body. You have to start from up, down, the downward causations, in which is the integrative medicine, quantum medical hypnosis techniques. Now, once we start to open the idea of that suggestions, it's just a suggestion, it's just an idea. You can accept it, you can reject it. You don't have to accept all suggestions. And that was the first step towards her critical mind, because that critical mind has been locked there, been sitting there for so long, nobody can penetrate it or even come nearby it. And once you achieve that rapport and comfort and confidence in the self, the ability of the critical mind to open become wonderful. And once you achieve that, the worries, the fears, the rejections, the world around her, the mom, the child inside her just disappear. And then we created an image in her mind that she can go back to that child, that little girl inside her, and she can talk to that girl. And she started to talk to that girl. And when she started to talk to that girl, and I asked her, do you think that you can accept suggestion from that girl? She said, no. I said, why? I said, because she's 5 years old. I'm 49 now. I said, here we go. So now you cannot accept those suggestions from this 5 years old. Can the 5 years old accept suggestions from the 49 years old? She said, yes. I said, okay, let's go. Now she start to create what we call it the auto-suggestion, that she start to give that child inside her that I'm wiser now, I am older, I have learned the lessons. Nobody will give me any hard time anymore. I'm an adult, I'm independent, I have my own job, I'm secure, I'm confident, I'm beautiful, and all of these beautiful things. And once you start to create that self-confidence, self-esteem, the value start to go up. And once the value go up, then the understanding of the confidence, the self-esteem also go up. And all of these negativities and fears has to go out of the window. And you
Yeah,
can
that's
see
a
others.
fascinating story. Just an observation that she was locked up for almost 50 years, in the sense, like, it took almost, she had this thing, oh, I'm going to be 50 next year. And then she decides to do this, and not when she was younger, like 30, or, you know what I'm saying, like in her 20s or 30s, but she had to go through this entire adulthood, and until she was going to hit 50, then the realization came, oh my God, I've been living my life all locked up.
Absolutely. That's why I call it the quantum world for a reason, because it's not an easy thing. Trust me, it's really takes a lot of courage for someone to reach out to you and seeking help. It's a lot of, I have people been calling me for almost a year, and they're just wondering all the whole year, oh, I want to do it. Oh, I know inside me that they're not ready yet. I always
Yes.
tell them that when you are ready, I know you will be here. Don't rush it. Take your time. It's okay.
All right, we should be almost on the time, few minutes left. We want to keep it up, open it up for questions if someone has any questions. So we'll quickly try to wrap up in the next few minutes, if that's okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, sure. So this case study, Jenny, 55 years old, female veteran, post-traumatic stress disorder, witnessed a death of her friend and colleague. And that's why I love so much what I do, because I think veterans needs a lot of attention and help from us, because they just don't really know what route to take or where to go or how to achieve and accomplish their goals. She came with the symptoms of physical headache and fibromyalgia and body tension, and emotionally a lot of guilt and shame that she lost her friend in the battle, and she saw her friend just dying in front of her eyes. And this picture just keep coming back and over and over and over, kind of a broke record repeating itself over and over. So in order for you to break such thing, you have to understand that you have to treat these cases with a lot of sensitivity. It's very sensitive. They are very sensitive to the sounds, to the noise, to the voice. So you have to be very, very careful with what you say and how you say it and when you say it. And you can see the ultimate result here in her chronic pain. She came 7 out of 10 on visual analog scale, and she finished on the August 2nd with a zero pain, nothing. It was just gone. And the stress went from 50% into 0%, nothing at all. And that was fascinating outcome and result. And she started to go back again and contribute to her community, and she pursue her dreams one more time.
That's amazing. All right, I think we are at the end. The book can be bought, right? And if someone is interested in the books, they can buy from Amazon, and all the case study publications are on ResearchGate that you can access, and we can send you the link as well. So with that, we would like to open it up for questions. Any final thoughts? While people, if someone has a question, I see attendees, live attendees. If someone has a question, we do want to open it up right now.
Absolutely. I'll be more than happy to answer any question.
So whilst if someone has a question, what we are going through now is, you think it would be like a PTSD kind of a syndrome, of what all of the whole world is going through in COVID-19, or like 9/11 was a timed event that happened, in the sense, like, it was for 2 hours or 1 hour, and then it left complete like devastation on someone's mind, person, like you said, lost someone. But this is like an ongoing thing that doesn't seem like it's going to end at all, right? So how do you compare the two, a single event of 2 hours or a long drawn out, what we're all going through?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, they already give it a name. They call it post-pandemic syndrome.
I see. Okay.
Post-pandemic syndrome, PPS, where we are all going through the unknown, the isolation, we as a human being never been designed to be alone. It's just not. We are a gatherer, and we socialized creatures. We love to be around each other, talking, even if we don't like each other. We still like to be around each other and talking and expressing our feelings and emotion and sharing food and stories and all of that. And because of the pandemic, we have we are living history. I'm telling, honestly, right now we are living at, like, 50 years from now, they will talk about us as, remember 50 years ago? People lived this PPS thing. Remember, it was crazy thing. Everybody was isolated. You have to wear a mask everywhere. You cannot go anywhere anymore. You cannot be on the beach. You cannot go to the gym. You cannot exercise. You cannot go to the grocery store anytime anymore. It's a crazy time. And the brain is designed to adapt and cope with any kind of stress for a short period of time. Once you exceed that limit, your capacity, your abilities to cope is just not possible. Therefore, taking care of our mental health right now, it should be our number one priority.
Mm-hmm.
Number one priority. I worked as a physical therapist for about 20 years. You know, as a physical therapist, your main concern is the physical concern that people come with. But I have
Mm-hmm.
learned that it's not just physical. It's way beyond your physical body. Your mental state play a big role in your healing and your recovery. And we all know that in medicine and healthcare and logic and rational. Therefore, taking care of your mental health right now is absolutely important, is absolutely must. You have to take care of your mind, because if you cannot take care of your mind, if the virus won't get you physically, it will get you mentally. And that's way dangerous than the physical one.
Yes, absolutely. And we will your recordings, we can email to all the attendees, the audio recordings that you were talking about, and all the whatever the prices, we can send them via email. This is an educational session. I do want to say that our educational sessions are just meant to educate you, nothing more than that.
It is.
And please give us the feedback. Our emails and our website is right here. Maybe we can convince Dr. Mogazhy to come back for a group hypnotherapy session. We'll see.
I would
How that, I think that would be an amazing, amazing session. So please give us the feedback. Please help us share, and spread the word. And before I wrap up, I want to thank Dr. Mogazhy for being with us. Dr. Mogazhy, any final thoughts for you? You said take care of your mental state. Anything else? Last sentence before I wrap up.
I would love for all of you to know that you are your own healer. You are your own healer. Take care of yourself. It's a very, very important time to do so. Take care of your physical, mental, and emotional and spiritual bodies. Take care of yourself and people that around you. It's a great opportunity now to be closer to yourself and to those whom you love around you than ever before. If anything that I would love to add at the end of our session today, that as much as we hate this coronavirus thing, and I want to tell you that it actually brought us closer, closer than
Mhm.
ever before. And it's a great opportunity to start to reflect on ourselves, because you can tell now our rhythm is slower, way slower than before. And that's a great opportunity to reflect on yourself, take care of your physical, mental, and spiritual bodies. And thank you so
That's
much for having me one more time.
Yes, that's a beautiful thought. I couldn't agree with you more. It has brought all of us closer to ourselves, closer to nature, and really cherishing what all of us have. I think that's a very important thought as well. With that, I would like to wrap up this session. Thank you so much, Dr. Mogazhy, again.
Thank you.
And we will thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.